everybody, I'm Heather with GetFitGoFigure.com, and tonight I am solo. Jenny Baker will not be joining us, unfortunately, which makes me really sad because she rocks the house and adds to this in a big way. But that's okay, you get me. So tonight we're going to talk about how to manage cravings. As some of you know, I competed on Saturday in the Minnesota Mayhem, which was super fun. It's really one of the best shows ever. Leif Anderson does an incredible show to make the competitors feel special and honored. And he's done that from the beginning and really upped the game for other bodybuilding shows, at least locally in the Twin Cities for sure. So, hey Amanda, AKA Ama. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to do my best to manage any incoming comments. So if I don't answer any of those questions, please put it back up there again. Jenny did a great job of keeping up on those, but I tended to miss those. So I'm going to make sure I have this up on my computer too. Hopefully I can keep up on it. So anyway, so I competed Saturday. It was super fun and I had a great time. Probably the best time I've ever had at a show so far. And that being, you know, the longer you're in it, the more people you know. So you get to know a lot of people with my posing clinics and just working with clients and knowing other coaches and their clients, and it's just a fabulous community. It's a really big challenge. My prep was really short because I sort of jumped into it last minute and flew under the radar kind of in secret because I didn't know if I was going to do it or not. But I made it. Could have come in leaner or tighter, but I might do the Olympia since I got 2 pro cards there, one in sports model, which is now my favorite division ever, and then in Masters Bikini, so that's 40 plus bikini. Took first and got a Masters pro card there. So maybe I'll go to Olympia. It's in 4 weeks. I'm seeing if I can prep this week without going crazy, and if so, I will do it. Anyway, here we go. Managing cravings. So through all of my preps, I've had to deal with crazy cravings. Through all of my clients' preps, they're dealing with cravings and hunger. Slower, longer preps, usually it's not as bad, even hunger-wise, but cravings are still there. So I wanted to touch upon a question I got, or actually more of a comment, kind of about the difference between hunger and cravings. And for me especially, they are 2 different things, and they are for most people. I can handle hunger just fine. Hunger is not a problem. I can do it. And the hungrier I am, actually, the better I handle it. It's very strange. It's kind of a huge push and almost a reminder of what I'm doing. When I'm kind of on the cusp of being hungry and I'm sort of fed, but I'm sort of not, that makes me crazy. And it's actually harder for me to manage. But the cravings, you guys, and you know cravings they're so hard because your body is telling you that you are starving and you need to eat more food. You might need salt, you might need sugar, you might need fat, whatever it is. Cravings are really challenging to deal with. So we're going to touch upon some things like artificial sweeteners and substitutes, things that you can do to curb your cravings and things that might actually make it worse. And then mindset around that. And I think that's actually one of the biggest factors that can help regardless. So here we go. Cravings. So when you're craving something, right? You may be hungry, you may be not, but your body's craving because when you're really lean, it's telling you to eat something and you're craving food. And you might be walking into the kitchen 8,000 times hoping to see something magically appear that wasn't there before and that is calorie free. That's not going to happen. That's what I do. I literally get up from my desk when I'm working from home, walk in that kitchen 8 times in like 10 minutes, looking for something that will magically appear, and it doesn't. And then I have to talk myself out of that kitchen and come back and sit down. And it is super hard. So a lot of times what I recommend that I find helps me, but I will tell you the con of it, is to sip on True Lemon. So True Lemon is a water additive, much like Crystal Light. I used to use Crystal Light back in the day, but all of the artificial sweeteners, which we'll talk about, just don't sit well with me. So Crystal Light has, and a lot of water flavored additives have a lot of different artificial sweeteners in them and dyes. Just stay away from them. They're gross and they're awful for your health, especially while you're prepping, because your body gets so much more sensitive to foods that you actually may be sensitive to. Or I'm sorry, it may not be more sensitive, but you can actually now pinpoint those sensitivities out a lot better than when you're well fed. So I just can't handle all the artificial sweeteners and dyes. So I've discovered True Lemon, and True Lemon is super yummy and amazing. It is sweetened with stevia. It doesn't taste like stevia. I do not like the flavor of stevia. And it has a bunch of different flavors, like raspberry and black cherry and lime and whatever. They're really yummy. So that's something that I can constantly sip on that has flavor and is sweet, as opposed to having just something in one shot. Like my friend Renee, who's not on here right now, but she's an amazing, incredible figure pro, and she would manage her cravings by taking like a small spoonful of cinnamon. I tried that and it did not work for me. I just about died. Like there was nothing about powdered cinnamon that, like that was gross. I couldn't do that. That was what she did. She liked to do that. For me, it was True Lemon because I could constantly have something to sip on that was sweet. So instead of me getting up, going to the kitchen 8 times, for the next half hour, an hour, I got to sip on something sweet that tasted really good. And that was calorie free for the most part. Something else that I liked to drink on is Zevias. They're carbonated. They're a little over carbonated sometimes. They can be a little too sweet for some people. More often than not, most of the people I recommend to True Lemon love it. Probably 70% of the people I recommend to Zevia like Zevia. They just say it's too sweet. Green tea is great. If you can handle the caffeine, awesome, Amanda. If you love tea, another way I curb cravings is tea. So you segued me right into that. Thank you, Amanda. That was great. Green tea is excellent. As long as you can handle the caffeine. If you can't, do herbal tea. But I really like the Good Earth teas because they have a little bit more of an intense flavor. The ingredients on there always says like, and other art or natural flavors. And with FDA standards and all that, that's bullshit. I don't know what that means. So I'm not really sure what's in Good Earth tea to make it a little bit more sweeter or flavorful. But regardless, that got me through my last prep was Good Earth tea and Zevia. Now the nice thing about tea is you don't have the you don't have the stevia in there. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So True Lemon, Zevia, tea. Something you can sip on that keeps on going. Yeah, bubbly or LaCroix, totally. And you know what I like to do with that, Joan, is put the True Lemon in the bubbly. I did that a lot too. So I'll take I have this big Bubba cup and I'll pour 1.5 bubblies in there and then one of the True Lemon packets. And that was super tasty, especially on a hot day. It was really refreshing. And that's just yummy to have in general. You go to parties, bring some bubbly and True Lemon. Like you get something refreshing, bubbly. You could, sip it on stuff. You're hanging on the boat with people. You don't have to be drinking and sucking down empty calories all day. That's awesome. So totally great. Absolutely. Other things aside from powdered cinnamon or something to drink, PB2 actually is something that a few of my clients do and I have done as well. PB2 is a powdered peanut butter. It's a defatted powdered peanut butter. And you add water to kind of reconstitute it to make it back into sort of a paste. It tastes like peanut butter without the fat. Side by side, of course, it's not exactly like peanut butter. But it does the trick when you're on a low-calorie diet, or putting it in a smoothie is excellent. But I would take a couple tablespoons of the PB2, and it was just enough to take the edge off of something I needed to eat. Of course, I tracked it. It had to fit my macros, but it was very easy to fit my macros. So PB2, literally, I would powder a little bit of water, and I would eat that. It was pretty good. I have clients that have made so many things. Jenny Baker would make this Swolgurt, and I have it on my blog. Jenny wrote this post. So Swolgurt protein fluff, of course. Yeah, Amanda, PB2 is bomb. Ooh, with bran crisp, yum. I love it. I'm going to try that, especially if I'm trying to go to Olympia and prep 4 weeks longer. Okay, Swolger. This is something else. So there is like 8,000 recipes with protein powder and like egg whites. And I swear to God, they all literally taste the same, but whatever. So in this Swolgert fluff was some vanilla protein powder, xanthan gum, which is kind of a binder. They use that in a lot of gluten-free products. Some almond milk or whatever milk you prefer, water, and then some plain vanilla or Greek yogurt. So you get the added protein. Of course, there's a little fat in there, so make sure it fits your macros, but it's a high protein type of snack, and that protein powder helps to actually sweeten it. So I'll put this on the post, but Jenny Baker put in all these fabulous pictures on how to make it and add a little flavor to it so that it was something with a little volume that was low calorie and had extra protein to get that in. There is Jenny Baker early on in all her awesomeness. So that was written in 2016. So finding things that you like that are lower calorie that can fit your macros if you're following a macro plan are great. Now, if you're not following a macro plan, if you're on general fitness, you're just trying to eat healthy and you need something that's lower calorie to kind of curb some cravings, those things work great. Now, if you're not portioning or tracking in any way, you're just eating whole foods, great. But if you find you plateau, you're going to need to start portioning or tracking or doing something, because you can eat all the low calorie protein stuff you want. Your body will signal you to eat as many calories as you need to maintain your weight. So especially for females, men, a lot of times they can clean up their diet and they'll lose 20 pounds and the wife or, girlfriend is sitting there going, what the hell, dude? We did this together and I lost absolutely nothing. We're females, we're meant to have fat on our body because we are meant to have babies and feed them. It is a very energy expensive process. So we are not meant to walk around with abs all day long. We're meant to have some extra fat on our body to help with reproduction, to perpetuate the species, because it is very important to do so. Let's see, Amanda, sauteed cabbage is a good snacky snack. Ooh, yes, thank you. That's so good. Sauteed cabbage, even with a little soy sauce, because that's very low calorie, or if you find another lower calorie sauce, throw some oh my God, that's a great, I used to do that all the time. I forgot about that. That's another one I got to do. Saute cabbage with whatever, salt, soy sauce. I like the soy sauce. Any sort of sauce that'll fit your macros. That's not too high in sugar. Some of them can be, stir-fry sauce can be higher in sugar, but yeah, that's a great idea. Amanda, you rock. Good job. By the way, some of you got to go check out Amanda's Instagram. Post your Instagram, Amanda. She does this pole dancing business, and it's like super mesmerizing and way awesome. So post that. Yeah, Bragg's liquid or amino. Yeah, totally, Amanda. I'm with you on there. Awesome. Okay, great tips there. So we got Swolgert, PB2, True Lemon, tea, Zevia. Saute some cabbage with liquid aminos or soy sauce. Check out at Amaretto Sunshine on Instagram, you guys, for some pretty sweet pole dancing. Like at Warp Fitness in St. Paul Park, Sam Barron, my friend who owns the space, has a pole in her space there. And I don't know how to use it. I try, but it's one of our aspirations to do so. Like the strength that it takes, I've had many clients try while they're trying to rest between sets, and it's hard AF, just saying. Okay, I digress. So let's talk about artificial sweeteners here for a little bit. Because gum, a lot of times women will use gum as well to help curb cravings. Well, you have to track your gum because gum has a couple carbs per stick. And a lot of times it's got a sugar alcohol like maltitol or erythritol. And you can knock out a whole pack real easy in a day. Well, you just consumed 30 carbs. And you have to track that. And you've also consumed a lot of erythritol or maltitol. And those sugar alcohols, while they are a better sugar substitute than an artificial sweetener like sucralose, asulfame, potassium, or aspartame, I would prefer someone used like something like Truvia, which is stevia and mostly erythritol. So don't get fooled by all the stevia in a bag business. You've got to look at the ingredients because a lot of times it's a lot of sugar alcohol in those bags. So Truvia is one I like to keep on hand. It is erythritol, with some stevia in there to sweeten it up. It's a nice low-calorie sweetener, but you got to be careful with those sugar alcohols, because if you have too many, for example, if I eat 2 Quest bars in a day, my gut is just like not happy because I can't handle the sugar alcohols in that quantity. I can do 1 Quest bar a day, which I do right now, and I love them. But too many can be a problem. It can cause digestive upset. It can cause you to be gassy all night long, and it is super uncomfortable. So you just have to be careful with the sugar alcohols. And that's what's in, again, gum. It's in a lot of supplements as well. So look at the ingredients, you guys. Stevia, I feel, is the best one. That's my top priority for a sugar, like a sugar alternative. Next would be the sugar alcohols like erythritol and maltitol. And on the bottom of the list, as a please avoid at all times, is the artificial sweeteners. Sucralose, ACE-K, or asulfame potassium, aspartame, and such. There's a couple more weird ones that are not as common. But those can be carcinogenic. They're not great for you. They're in a shit ton of supplements. I had a hard time about, I don't know, when I first started getting into bodybuilding in like 2013, finding products without sucralose and asulfame potassium. I did find some eventually, but now there are far more supplements that have those that do not have artificial sweeteners. So like Vital Proteins, Natural Stacks, Bulletproof Executive. What else? Quest has removed a lot of sucralose, but they still use some in their protein powders, even though they use stevia as well to kind of cut the artificial sweeteners down. So just read your ingredient labels, you guys. It's really important to understand that. Now, let's talk about how all of these sugar alternatives, from stevia to asulfame potassium, how they affect the body, because they can have some downsides. So when you eat sugar, there are receptors in the mouth, okay, that signal your body and your gut to release hormones to take care of the carbohydrates that are coming in, okay? So once the carbohydrates are digested in your bloodstream, they need to be taken care of and utilized and stored in the muscles and liver. Whatever is extra is going to be stored as fat. And if you eat a ton of stevia or a ton of erythritol or a ton of sucralose, your body detects that sweet flavor and it says, oh, we got a bunch of carbs coming in, sweet. Let's send out the guards, get the hormones flowing. We got to take care of these carbs coming out. And when the body doesn't get the actual carbs in there, there's nothing happening. And the hormones are like, hello, what's going on here? TikTok carbs, like, let's go down. And they're not coming. What's going to happen is the body is going to be like, okay, we need these carbohydrates that we're signaling for, and it will actually increase those hormones and make hunger stronger. So that's why diet sodas can actually just make you fat. They're not helping you at all. The other problem with things like sucralose or asulfame potassium is they can also inhibit, or not completely inhibit, but it can suppress serotonin, which is your happy hormone. It also helps with the second half of sleep, your sleep cycle. You can take 5-HTP, by the way, before you go to bed to help stimulate serotonin. That's a precursor. I do that a lot of times. But artificial sweeteners have some pretty crappy effects on the body. Aside from signaling that you're eating carbs and you're not, and your body's like, okay, F you, eat some more. It's also suppressing hormones, can make you depressed, etc. So they're just not good. So when you're trying to prep for a show, or you're trying to diet down and you're eating all these 0-calorie foods like Walden Farms, and you're eating gum and using Crystal Light, and all your protein powders have sucralose in them, you could actually be doing more harm, which is no good. So find yourself good products without artificial sweeteners if you can. Now, the closer you get to your show and you're on really low calories, fine. You know what? A little Walden Farm syrup on pancakes isn't going to kill you. But overall, it can make things harder on you in the end. So, my ultimate tip is to help with cravings is to actually just cut out all the shit, all the sugar, all the sweeteners, just like you would on a peak week. That includes stevia on a peak week, okay? You're taking all that crap out. And you have to understand that mentally, it is what it is, and you let it go, okay? You have a craving, accept that, and then let it go, and it's okay. The more you sit here and stress about it and look at Pinterest and you're scrolling through, look at all the food porn and what you're gonna eat when you're done at your show, and you got all the recipes printed out and a food list for people to make for you when you're done, and the donuts you're gonna eat, it can actually cause this mental stress, which stresses out the body, and you're already causing a ton of stress on your body with the workouts and the diet and the life and balancing kids and whatever, that it's an added stressor, and you cannot handle more added stressors in prep. That actually hinders your progress. When you keep that cortisol up all day long, or you're not getting quality sleep, which keeps that cortisol up all night long, it hinders fat loss. So it's this big negative feedback loop. So the best thing to do is just let it go, okay? It's a mental thing. Meditate through it. Practice meditation. It's actually amazing and phenomenal, has 100 million benefits. Do it before you go to bed. Every time before you go to bed, lay there for 5 minutes and clear your mind. Make sure all thoughts are out and completely relax, because that's what it takes when you need to avoid those cravings and you're stressing about it. You just need to relax, accept it for what it is, and move on, and tell yourself you don't need it. It's okay. It is what it is. I have this goal of prepping. I want to lose weight. I want to win. You need to just be calm about it. Amanda, sugar makes me inflamed. The skin on the back of my neck hurts when I eat too much garbage. Oh, that's interesting. Sugar does cause inflammation, so that's a good point. Sugar does cause inflammation, and from a study that I read forever ago, I remember it saying that sugar can cause inflammation for like 2 weeks or some such thing. So if you eat a bunch of sugar one day, it can actually cause inflammation for the next 2 weeks. Not sure if that's completely true. I'd need to research that again, but for some reason, I remember that statistic from forever ago. So keep that in mind, because it's not just 1 or 2 days that you could be inflamed. You're actually causing issues for many, many days before your body can get that inflammation down. And on a side note, curcumin is actually a great supplement for inflammation. You can get it from turmeric as well. Curcumin's a very tiny portion of turmeric. So if you get a concentrated form of a concentrated form of curcumin, it's highly beneficial. There's a ton of studies showing how beneficial it is. So as long as you're taking care of the things that are causing inflammation, you can just give it one extra punch with curcumin. I take curcumin. Turmeric is just a whole food source. It just doesn't have very much in it, and curcumin by nature isn't that bioavailable. So concentrated form will really help with inflammation, which again can help with hormones and fat loss too. But anyway, back to the mental thing. Just anything in life, right? It is what it is. Be calm, and you're gonna move on from it. And that's number one. That's my number one top priority when you're trying to deal with cravings or hunger. It is what it is. Be calm and move on. And that's something I work with my general fitness clients on as well. When you're at dinner, for example, with friends, and you're at the Olive Garden, they put those freaking breadsticks in there. I don't know if they still do that. I haven't been in Olive Garden forever. Those damn breadsticks on the table, and they're staring at you in the face, and everyone's eating them, and you know that if you have that bread, you can't have this pasta dish you really want, because it's a give and take, right? You can't have all the carbs. So what you need to do, and this is what I do, and it works very well for me, and it's worked very well for many clients, but it can be very challenging, is, you're looking at it and you're like, I don't need that. I don't want it. I don't need it. And I want to enjoy my dinner that I've chosen. I'm going to move on. And it literally takes the stress away. Like, the stress just goes away. It's all in your head, people. 90% of everything we do is mental. 90% of sports. I used to coach swimming. Very, very talented, high-performing high school athletes going to Olympic trials and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. You know what? 90% of it's mental. You want to win, you're going to keep going, and you're going to push your body past the point of when it's telling you you're tired, because you're actually not that tired. Your body still has reserves to keep going. It's all in your head. So just let it go. That's all I got to say. So let's see, do I have any more? Ooh, one more thing I did want to touch upon. I had another question about gut health regarding artificial sweeteners. So gut health is highly important. You have this, the brain-gut connection and all the research coming out about it now is just incredible. And they're looking at, in the future, treating mental illnesses through gut bacteria, which is freaking awesome. Like, it's just so cool. So the gut-brain connection is just absolutely amazing. And when your gut is unhealthy, it can cause even complete emotional stress and anger and all this crazy stuff. So your artificial sweeteners, including stevia, like your sugary substitutes and things like that, from stevia to sugar alcohols to the artificial sweeteners, they can cause changes in your gut health. So if you're going to consume them in larger quantities, you know, like me, if I have 3 Quest bars in a day, my gut is not happy. So if you have a Quest bar with erythritol, and you have your protein powder with sucralose, and then your BCAAs with asulfame potassium, and then you chew on a few sticks of gum with maltitol in it, you're consuming a lot of those sugar substitutes, artificial sweeteners, etc. And that does affect your gut health. You have thousands of different kinds of gut bugs that are working synergistically to break down your food. And when you can influence your gut health, obviously, by what you're eating. So, for example, if you turn keto overnight, so many people can have a lot of digestive upset and constipation because you just went from eating a balanced diet to eating all fat. And now your gut doesn't know what to do. It cannot handle that very drastic change for most people. So it needs to be gradual. And the same goes with artificial sweeteners. Your gut bacteria have to adapt to that. It can cause a lot of upset, and eating a lot of those things can make for a very unhealthy gut. When you're eating a lot of junk food, it makes for a very unhealthy, unbalanced gut. So whole foods, staying away from a lot of artificial sweeteners. Stevia would be my number 1 in moderation. And mentally, just be calm, be zen, and just let it go. So if there are no other questions, I am going to sign off and thank you all for joining me so much. You can always email me with questions at getfitgofigure@gmail.com. I'm going to post this little Swogurt fluff in the comments. You can check that out. And I will list the artificial sweeteners and stuff in the comments too, so you have a visual on the spelling of those, so you can take a look at them. But thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you joining me, and you have an awesome night.